Hello, my name's Derek Fry. I've been a Swindon Council tenant for almost 10 years. Housing and tenants' rights mean a great deal to me and to many of the people that I know. If you're anything like us, you want to live in a warm, modern home and have your repairs done on time and get improvements when you need them. We don't want the earth, just a good service and a decent place to live in. However, changes to housing finance next year mean the council won't have enough money to spend on much needed improvements to our homes, especially over the next 10 years. And if we don't keep properties up to a decent standard, we'll build up problems for the future. So the council is looking at the future of its housing. There are two options. We can either stay with the council or switch to a new not-for-profit landlord created by the council especially for Swindon's homes. This is our chance to weigh up what we feel is best before we're asked to vote on the future of our homes. It's important that we get the facts, think about what this means for us and ask questions before the vote, which is set to happen later this year. Some tenants have asked questions about what these changes will mean. Let's see what they found out.
I'm quite happy having the council as my landlord. Why should I vote?
Because whatever happens, things won't stay as they are. New finance rules that come in next year mean the council won't be able to deliver the level of improvements to homes and services that tenants want and deserve, like new kitchens, bathrooms, central heating boilers and insulation. Transferring homes to a new landlord would give us £70 million more over the next 10 years. That's equivalent to an extra £6,700 to spend on every home.
My home badly needs some improvements. When will they get done?
It will take the council 20 years to renew all kitchens over 12 years old and 30 years to replace bathrooms. But Swindon Housing Association would have the money to do this within 5 years. That means an extra 6,000 new kitchens and 8,600 new bathrooms by 2017.
I've heard the government are changing the funding rules for councils. Won't that solve the problem?
No, it won't, but it may help to explain why. At the moment, 28 pence out of every pound tenants pay in rent to the council goes to the government. That adds up to £9 million every year. From April 2012, the government plans to bring in new rules on the way council housing is funded, known as self-financing. The good news is we'll be able to keep all the rent that we collect in future. The bad news is the council will have to take on an extra £145 million in borrowing as a share of the national housing debt. That's the cost of building all council homes in the past. We will have to pay interest on that extra debt, with the money coming from tenants' rents. The government will also impose a strict limit on how much the council can borrow. So although we'd have more money coming in, we wouldn't have the funding to get and keep homes and services up to the standard that tenants want, especially over the next 10 years.
So can we expect big rent increases if we transfer to the Housing Association?
No, because Swindon Housing Association would set rents in exactly the same way as the council, so there would be no extra rent increases as a result of the transfer. Annual rent increases are currently fixed by the same government rules for both councils and housing associations, so there will be absolutely no additional rent increase. Swindon Housing Association would also offer a 5-year rent guarantee. This promise would be written into the new tenancy agreement. After that, you'd keep paying rent in line with the government's rules, which are currently the same for councils and housing associations.
How will tenants' rights change if we transfer to a new landlord?
All your key legal rights would be protected through a new tenancy agreement. So if the transfer goes ahead, you'll have a lifetime tenancy with Swindon Housing Association. You'd still be able to do important things like buy your home with a discount, swap homes, or take in a lodger. Swindon Housing Association would also give you an additional guarantee. The new landlord would not use any extra grounds for eviction like those some private landlords use. This would be part of the new tenancy agreement, giving you the same security that you have as a council tenant. You'd also get 2 new rights that you don't currently have. You would be able to pass on your home to a family member, even if you've already had your home passed on to you. You'd also have the right to refuse changes to your tenancy agreement without consent, apart from the yearly changes to rents and service charge, that is.
I live in sheltered housing. What would the transfer mean for where I live?
If the transfer goes ahead, Swindon Housing Association would provide a high level of support for older people living in sheltered housing. This includes guaranteeing resident sheltered housing officers, wardens, in schemes for at least the next 5 years. The Housing Association would also be improving sheltered housing schemes. This would include new kitchens, bathrooms, scooter storage, upgrading lighting and lifts and refurbished laundry areas and guest rooms. Council expects it wouldn't be able to carry out any major improvements to sheltered housing.
4 in 10 of the council's homes are non-traditional, like these houses built of concrete panels or steel frames. These properties cost much more to maintain than traditional brick-built homes. The transfer would mean an extra £4 million in the budget. That would pay for repairs and upgrades to almost 200 more non-traditional homes than the council could afford. The Housing Association would also plan to improve safety and security to 300 blocks of flats within 10 years. For example, 2-storey flats would have new high-security doors and audio-visual links so you can check who's there, and improved lobby and entrance lighting. The council isn't planning any changes like that. Central heating is another priority. The new landlord plans to provide energy-efficient heating systems to all homes needing them within 5 years. What about housing services? Well, both the council and the Swindon Housing Association would promise to fund adaptations for people with disabilities and an environmental improvement programme. But on top of that, the Swindon Housing Association would also be able to guarantee the neighbourhood warden scheme for the next 5 years. This is something the council cannot promise to do. The Housing Association would also make tackling antisocial behaviour a top priority, with a dedicated budget and staff on hand to give practical advice to address people's concerns.
It is extremely important to me that we maintain high quality social housing for all of our tenants in Swindon, now and into the future. The council does not run services to make a profit, and the new landlord would work in exactly the same way.
Any surplus money would go back into providing homes and services and repaying loans. About 200 councils in England have already transferred their homes to housing associations, so this is nothing new.
I joined the Shadow Board of Swindon Housing Association because I believe tenants can have an even bigger say in how things are run. There are 12 people on the Shadow Board, 4 of us are tenants, 4 are council nominees, and there are 4 independent people. The independent people have specialist skills and knowledge, such as housing finance. We recruited them because they will help the new landlord to do a great job.
We've also got a resident engagement group, REG for short. REG is a group of tenants and leaseholders who get together as volunteers to make sure that the Swindon Housing Vote gets things right for local people. REG members help to develop the consultation document that explains what the new landlord can offer you. Please make sure you read it and see what it means for you and your home. You should have got a copy of the consultation document when you received this DVD. If not, please contact the council to get a copy. For me, the Swindon Housing Vote is about getting improvements done to as many people's homes as we can, and knowing my rights as a tenant will be protected. But these are my priorities. You need to decide what's right for you. At the minute, council staff are out and about, visiting every home in Swindon and answering questions on the doorstep. The Independent Tenants Advisors, DWA, are also on hand to support us. DWA were appointed by tenants. Their job is to give free, impartial advice to make sure that tenants and leaseholders' views are fully listened to. It's really important that everyone knows and understands what's happening and can make an informed choice about what they feel is best. Decision time is planned for November and December. If the Swindon Housing Vote goes ahead, you'll be asked to take part in a confidential ballot run by an independent polling company. Please make sure that you read everything that is sent to you. Get the facts, think about what this means to you, and ask questions before the vote happens. The future of our homes depends upon it.
Please use your vote.
For more information, please contact Swindon Council on 01793 465 996. Or if you'd like free impartial advice, please contact our Independent Tenant Advisor, DWA, on 0800 0855 492.